Hello and welcome to the Self-Unemployed podcast. Now, in this episode, Drew and I talk a little bit more about property investing and the truth about being a landlord.
And it's something when I've spoken to a lot of people about property investing, a lot of the time it comes from someone who has purchased their property or the home that they live in, and maybe they did a little bit of work and it went up in value, and they were like, oh, it's that easy. Like, now, obviously it isn't that easy, but for some people, or for a lot of people, especially that I've met, that is a lot of the ways that they've got in is through their own property. They got, oh, there's something to this. Like, maybe I could keep doing this. I can't imagine anyone wakes up in the morning or grows up as a kid and when they're 6 years old and say, oh, I want to become a landlord. I can't imagine that is like a very common dream. But we all sort of end up there.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just say, I really hate the term landlord because it so doesn't describe what we do. We don't lord over land. It's not like that anymore. Maybe it was 500 years ago or something. I prefer to call it what I do. A more accurate description of what I do would be a housing provider or home provider. You know, I take properties that are ruined, you know, that are destroyed, that no one, the one I've just done is certainly, I'd consider taking ones that weren't in such bad condition as well. But normally there's got to be something really wrong with it in order to be able to add value. You know, the idea of, and maybe this worked in the past, just buying a turnkey property that someone else has renovated or was already still in very good condition. They're just buying that and then renting it out. That's not profitable. When you analyze the numbers, it's not profitable to do that. You're either going to tie up, tens or hundreds of thousands of pounds, and it's going to take literally decades to get that back. Or if you refinance something like that, you'll probably find that unless you've added value, the rent after you've paid for your management costs and all the other costs, management maintenance, there probably won't be enough to pay the mortgage. So unless you're raising the value, nowadays, especially with the higher interest rates, it's not as easy as people think. And again, we talked about bad education earlier on. There's a lot of bad education on property, and you see all these TV shows, Homes Under the Hammer, and programs where they just do flips and stuff. They're just they lie about the numbers, definitely. Just not because they're trying to be misleading, but they just need to kind of simplify things, because in reality things are a lot more complicated when you talk about refinancing and stuff like that. And also maybe people are using bridging finance and stuff, which is, they don't want to get into all that stuff because that just makes things really complicated. So but it ends up making a misleading view of things, and I think people are out there thinking that being a landlord's easy and being a landlord must be greedy. And they don't see the value of what we do. You know, I'm taking houses that people can't live in. People can't buy them. You know, first-time buyers can't buy these houses because they would need a mortgage, and a mortgage company won't lend on a property like that. So I'm taking properties that are out of the housing stock and bringing them back into the housing stock. And that is good for the market, and it's providing a valuable service, because it's providing homes that didn't exist before to society. So I think it's hugely valuable. But it is frustrating.
I'm fully behind that, because there's always going to be people who are out for themselves. But I think, especially with what we do, I think we're aligned in the same case of really the money is in the rundown property. And so if I'm taking a property, renovating it, and then putting someone in there, not only has that property now that was decrepit and run down been renovated, but someone gets to live in there. And not everyone wants to buy a property. You know what I mean? It's like there's this idea that we're stealing all the houses, or people are stealing all the houses. Not everyone wants to buy. And also, buying sometimes isn't the smartest way forward, to buy your own property that you live in. Because arguably it's a depreciating, or at least it's eating up all your funds. And so, yeah, I'm fully supportive of that.
Yeah. And you just said something really interesting. You said the money, what was it? You said the money is in the rundown properties. Yeah. So And yeah, the way the economy works, this is not just property, this is everything. If you've got a company and you want to make money, you need to be valuable to your customers. Your products need to give your customers more value than it costs you to make it, so that they will pay you enough to cover your costs and give you a bit of profit. That's how the economy works. It's not about, so if you want to make money, you have to be valuable. So what landlords do by fixing up these properties is of value to society. Otherwise, people wouldn't if they don't need it, they wouldn't buy it. There'd be no opportunity there. Yeah. So does that make sense? I think creating value and being
Absolutely.
valuable to our customers is what is all about, not just in property but in anything. Thank you for watching. Now, this was just a clip from the full episode of the Self-Unemployed podcast. If you're interested in growing your wealth, becoming financially free and becoming self-unemployed, then you can sign up for notifications about the podcast at our website. Links in the description. We've got loads of really good guests investing in all sorts of ways, especially in property. So join us, check out the show, and I'll see you soon.